Welcome back to the channel. Just a quick one today. We're working on somebody else's bike, and he doesn't want to come on film, but we'll be fitting some auxiliary spotlights to a Sinnis Terrain. See you in a bit. So a little bit different today, working on the world's cleanest Sinnis Terrain. And first job is going to be to remove these old auxiliary lights from the very straight crash bars that hasn't been put on its side at some point. And that's probably the hardest bit of the job today. I'm not allowed to work on the bike, I'm just here for advice. So how I'm going to film it without getting Scott on camera, I really don't know, but we'll give it a go. So Scott is just undoing all the very rusty seized Allen keys that are holding the old ones on. I don't think we're keeping these, so there's a very good chance we're going to snip the wires and then trace them back afterwards. We found out they do just head up under the headlights there somewhere, so they're either wired to an ignition feed or straight to the headlight feed, but we'll find that in a minute. Undoing somebody else's work is not fun. So that's one removed. Bit of a sorry state, which is why Scott wanted to put some new ones on, and here are the new ones, as recommended by Helmet Head himself. Of course, purchased with his discount, and we do feel so much more solid. They do feel and look a million times better. And on to the other side. Hopefully equally as easy as the other one, which wasn't that easy anyway. At least this is a straighter crash bar. You can see the difference, I think. Only slightly folded in. We'll straighten that one day. So just feeding the old cables back up to where they come from, where they find their power source. And the next job then will be to remove the headlight, I think, because they seem to sort of go up under and then disappear. It looks like the headlight unit was very simple to remove, all bar the wires. That should then give us access to wherever that cable's fed up to. Looks like it's fed into the headlight unit. That's helpful. We're going to have to strip the whole headlight unit down. That's going to be fun. I hate undoing other people's work. So just these two 8mm bolts, and we're hoping this plastic backplate will show us where the wires are. If not, I'm just going to cut and tape them and leave them there. No, we'll do it properly. There we go, so that's coming away. And can you see where the wires go? This one. Oh, are they into that one, or are they? I think they've been patched into them. Well, because I suspect you'll need some of those wires, just not all of them. Well, they haven't made this very easy, have they? Looks like it's just Scotch lock connectors. So I should just be able to undo those Scotch lock connectors. I say just. I've got small fingers, but I don't think even my fingers will fit in there. Somehow we'll undo those Scotch lock connectors, and that should free up all the old wiring. So just insulate the slight bit of damage from that the Scotch locks have made there. Don't know if you can see that, it just leaves bare wires. We don't want to leave those bare wires, so tape them up And then we start with the installation then, which should be a lot easier because it's all off a relay. The most difficult part of this now is just going to be finding the ignition feed to run the relay, or switch feed. No, it's ignition feed, I believe. Whatever it is, I don't know. Let's get these taped up. Go for it, Scott. What a lovely tidy little job. So now Scott wants to run it off his little side light power switch, so that he has an on-off switch as well as his mode switch that comes with the lights. And we have found this wire, which comes from that whole unit on the handlebars, and it comes down under here and comes to a connector down there, which we can't get to without taking this case off, this outer plastic piece of Chinese magickery off. So now it is just a case of finding that plug there and finding the power we want from that plug. So multimeter is going to have to come out. I'm on it. So we need access to the battery now, just to make sure we've got a good earth for the multimeter. So while Scott gets to that, I'm going to enjoy a coffee. Perfect stand for a coffee. Should we get in there by the looks of it? Take this opportunity to introduce Scott. Well, I can't really introduce him because he doesn't want to be here. Scott is my daughter Rachel's boyfriend, and rides the same bike as Rachel as well, clearly. So yeah, say hi Scott without saying hi.
Hello.
Oh, he said hello. I didn't even think you were going to speak then. I thought I was going to have to speak for you. Right, I'm going to enjoy this coffee. And well, having said that, I think we're already ready to go, aren't we? Yeah. Coffee's too hot. Have to wait. Best part of the day. Oh, it's getting cold already, to be fair. It's so cold out here. It is about 1 degree out here today. Not working in the best workshop environment. Hey ho. Right. Multimeter. So just testing that multimeter. We got a reading of 13.8 volts there. This multimeter's pants. It's probably only 12 volts, but it gives us a signal, gives us an indication that the earth is fitted well. So come around to the front. And we need to, firstly, put your ignition on. And currently the switch you want to use is that one, isn't it? So that is now on. So we want to poke that connector. So it's a little bit of an education for Scott. At the same time, he's a very good rider and he's very keen to do all the work on his bike, but obviously less experienced than myself. So we want to try and poke somewhere. We've got some open wires in that connector. See if we can find a live. I would suggest that end. Just try poking some wires and see what the multimeter does.
I can get in.
It's not the easiest of multimeter of connectors. Right, that gives us the 12 volts. So hold that there. Switch the switch off. It's not that one because it doesn't change. Next. That's not giving us anything yet. Try the next one. That's giving us a 12 volts. Switch the switch off, it makes no difference. Next one, 12 volts, switch off, makes no difference. Always the last one you try. That's the one. Make a note of the colour of the wire and which pin you're in.
This brown one there.
That brown one there. Just do that again, just to be 100% sure. So yeah, we got a 12 volts there. Switch the switch off, goes down to 0. That is 100% the wire we want. Right, so before we connect any of those wires, we decided it would be a good idea to actually start getting the new unit out, which comes as a complete wiring loom, relay, battery and ignition power. And then obviously somewhere as a wire goes to the switch, I would imagine that's that connector there. So it's pretty straightforward. Now we just want to feed that green wire up through the frame. Might have to take these side panels off and then up through before we clamp it with a Scotch lock to that wire we just found. So that's what Scott's going to do, with or without my guidance. My coffee is now empty, so he has my full attention.
I think attempts to do is probably.
Attempt. You will attempt and you will succeed.
Certainly try. Might be easier to take those fairings off or not.
You might get through there, but you probably want to cable tie it and tidy it, so you might want to take them off, but whether you do it now or afterwards is entirely up to you. Actually, that's going to go quite happily on its own, isn't it? And then what I would do is find another cable and trace it up with that. So if you can bring it up through the middle of the tank there, so that it's not interfering. If we know there's other cables there, we know it's not interfering with any steering or anything. That was fairly straightforward. So we're just having a bit of a conflab as to the best positioning for the switch, and I think we're all in agreement that actually looks quite neat there. So we'll just undo that mirror mount or brake lever mount, whatever it is, just the 1/8mm bolt, clamp it on. Scott is a little bit OCD, the power light has got to be pointing upwards, which he's made sure of that, so we'll just clamp that tight as well with a 19mm spanner, and that's the switch in place. So just clamping that one up, very easy that was. And I think that looks quite smart. Out of the way, easily accessible, like it was meant to be there. So just without the fuse connected, connecting these little battery clips. Earth first, just slide it over, make sure it's pushed right in, and tighten it up again, give it a gentle tug, make sure it's not going to come away. That's nice and tight. Same on the live, be more aware that the live, if anything you touch now touches the framework, will give you a little bit of a tingle. Probably not the best screwdriver, you don't need to be completely remove that.
From above?
Yeah. Maybe off slightly to the left so that we can tuck everything up on top of the battery when we do it up.
Out there.
I'd say that looks good to me. So just a good clean up. We can't find a bolt to fit this to. This is the main relay control unit that comes with the lights. You can't find a bolt in the right position. We think we're quite happy with it sitting there, so we're just going to double side it to this side of the plastic. So Scott's just given that a good clean, make sure the sticky works well. Obviously using the right stuff for this, a solvent cleaner, glass and mirror cleaner, absolutely the right stuff, without a doubt. You would normally use an alcohol based or solvent based cleaner, but that's what glass and mirror cleaner is, isn't it? I'd give that another squirt before you take that on, and I'd also recommend cleaning the side of the unit you're going to stick to. And then when you do put this double-sided on it, I would put the double-sided on the unit first and then stick it to the plastic rather than the other way around. Well, it makes that much difference, just I find it easier that way around. Nice and clean, the only clean part of the bike, which really is disgusting, Scott. It's proof it gets used. He's a rider, not a polisher. 3 years later, somebody with fingernails might have got the double-sided off. Now see, if you'd done it in one strip, you'd only have had one bit to do. So we've got Rachel and Scott. It's just Rachel who wants an excuse to hold Scott's hand, really. I am not claiming to be any better at this than anybody else, but I'm not here to do the job today, so I don't have to. How's that coffee coming on, Rach?
I'm not doing it.
Pardon?
I'm not doing it.
How rude. You're stuck. Is it stuck? That's pretty solid to me. Ain't going anywhere, is it?
Nope. Sorry.
Next, tidy up the wires, fit the lights to the frame, see if they all work. So Scott successfully scotch locked the accessories cable to the switch wire we found earlier. That looks good. Next is to plug it in, make sure it all works. So just plugging these back in loosely at the moment so we can put all the headlight unit back together if it's all working. Last thing we want to do is have to take it all apart again when they decide not to work. So they're plugged in, fuse back in the power, and the moment of truth. Fuse is in, keys are always useful. They are not on, they are still not on. Ah, now they are on. And your mode button changes all the... Yeah, there we go. Isn't that fancy? So while Scott puts the headlight unit back together and tidies the wiring up, I'm going to leave him to his own devices and make my own coffee, thanks to Rachel. So in the time it's taken me to make my coffee and not drink any of it, Scott hasn't done very much. Not through his own fault, he's got a few issues getting the plastics to line up without the wires from snagging everywhere. He's getting there, just slowly. It's fine, I can drink coffee. So Scott's bolted this side on, that looks pretty good. Just about to bolt this side on. Unfortunately I have no more time to give him to help, but he's more than capable of finishing this off now. I do have to go to work, so we will get back to you with some footage of them actually working in use at some point in the next year, hopefully.